Hello and welcome to Shy Talk, an Irish history podcast. And this week's episode we had the wonderful Alison Spittle on with us to talk about a lot of stuff. Loosely themed around Belvedere House in Westmeath. The stuff about the origins of the Yeti, a guy who built a giant wall just to piss off his brother. And, of course, more stuff about Joe Dolan, because that's our main obsession at the minute. But you can check out Alison's stuff. We'll link to her Instagram page in the description of this episode. And that's the same place where you'll be able to find links to all of our upcoming live podcasts. We've got a live show in Dublin at the start of February, on the 1st of February. And then we've got one in Belfast and one in Cork. And a few other ones to be confirmed in the near future. But all that stuff is in the link in the description of this, as well as our own gig in Dublin on the 1st of February. We are also hosting the Troubles live podcast in Dublin in Fordham Lane, and that is on the 25th of January. So if you're a fan of the Troubles podcast, you can get a ticket to that through our website as well. And we'll see you at one or both of those in the near future. But until then, enjoy this episode about Belvedere.
Gather around now, you're in for a story. Old tales of lore, all in search of a glory. The history and mystery of lads, lasses and all. Discoveries and voyages, the rise and the fall. Follow me now as we go back in time. Retrace the steps of Irish heritage to find. Joseph from Carlo and Kevin and Dawn. Guide you through the ways of Shy
Part the audio.
That would have been embarrassing.
For a podcast, that would have been.
Yeah.
We've
Funny.
only done that a few times. It's only happened a couple of times.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Usually it's about halfway through we'll realize that one of the mics wasn't on or something.
Oh no!
But I don't think it's ever ruined an episode.
No, it lost. There's one episode where we had a guest on where my mic wasn't on for like the first half an hour.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it really
Oh,
just
gee.
seemed like I was throwing a strop.
You were upset.
Yeah.
Because even people were throwing questions to me and then it was a silence for a while.
Oh my god! That's
Isn't that right,
amazing.
Jason?
So rude.
You're like Ted out of the Den, just a silent kind of. Oh, that's a reference
Oh.
that you wouldn't. How
Well,
old are you?
of course we
The
know
Den.
Ted from the Den.
I know, but sometimes like
Yeah.
I've become aware of how old I am. Like I talk to adults and they're like, "I've never heard of EastEnders," and I'm like, "Shut up."
What?
Yeah,
But
they're-
EastEnders is still on the air now.
I know, but there are people that don't watch soaps in any capacity. I don't
Or
watch
even
soaps
watch
anymore.
TV.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
linear
yeah.
TV.
Say I don't watch it anymore. Sure. Now, how many are you watching
Like,
on a weekly basis?
I was fucking in EastEnders last year. I was delighted.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't watched it.
Yeah.
I watch it at Christmas.
Sure.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Because I was a home and away man.
Were you home and away,
Yeah,
man?
yeah, and I couldn't get into Neighbours as
Did
much.
it give you an unrealistic expectation of how beautiful Australian people are?
No, it gave me an unrealistic expectation of what like Australia's like. There should be way
Right.
more Irish characters in that show.
That's true. There was one Irish character in Neighbours, I remember, and he wasn't able to read. And he poisoned his girlfriend by accident. He gave her bleach.
So an
Like-
accurate representation.
Yes.
So he couldn't
yes. I know
read
that.
or smell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. And he's like, this smells like cum. It's fine. You know?
Good old
Sorry.
bleach.
Yeah, good old bleach.
It was coincidence that I'd said the day before, "I'll kill you, baby."
yeah, absolutely.
You said you loved Bondi Beach. I thought you said I'd love to be murdered by bleach. This is classic Irish faux pas.
I need to clean out these Irish ears.
Yeah, which is an Irishman faux pas, a phrase I don't understand.
Oh,
That's too
yeah.
stupid. I only remember Neighbours as being the show that was on before The Simpsons.
Yes.
That,
you
but I
get
was
the end of
probably
it.
too young. But Ted,
Out of 10, you remember.
yeah, I mean, for everyone listening who doesn't remember Ted,
Mm.
he was just an inanimate animal bear
Yeah.
that they would throw into the den every once in a while. Which
And The Den is like a children's TV show
yeah.
on in Ireland.
But whenever Ted would show up, it would feel like
There was
the
danger.
greatest event in a start. Like,
Because it's not every day.
it's not every day. In
No.
fact,
It's not
it
even
probably
every
was
week.
fairly regularly. But as a child, you know,
You wanted all Ted.
You wanted all.
mainly
Yeah.
the Den to be Ted. Because Ted would attack.
Ted was the Osama bin Laden of children's TV.
That is very true.
You always need more.
Yeah,
I
you were
read-
like, whoa,
So
what
they
are you
ba-
doing here?
they throw this
I haven't seen
giant-
you in years.
They throw this shot. You were trained by the CIA.
Yeah.
Ted. They throw Ted in, and then Ray Darcy would like have to pretend to be wrestling with the bear.
Yes.
But I read recently in some interview, Darcy said that
He wasn't
He
pretending.
said he didn't
he
have to
wasn't
pretend at
pretending.
all.
They used to do it when he was hungover. So when he come in with a head in him, they'd be like, "All right, we'll
Ted's
fuck a bear at you," and you have to wrestle around. And there's clips where you can see, and with that knowledge, you really are. He's like, "Oh, for fuck's sake!"
Oh, that's wonderful.
You know the days when you go into work and you're just like, "I'm just going to do the bare minimum here. I'm going
Bear.
Bear.
And then they'd fucking try and bear him, and then he'd be like, "Right, that's done." And then they'd throw it at him again. And
Oh man,
I wonder, is that where the film Ted got its inspiration from?
probably
Impossible to know, but I would say yes.
It's
Yeah.
where the TV show The Bear got its inspiration.
Yeah.
There we
Wait
go.
for season 3. You think it's tough running a fine dining establishment? Wait till you just have a fucking bear thrown at you.
Yeah. Wait until you have like a pig wearing sunglasses pretending to be Bono.
Yeah.
And then a kid rings in. I can't do the yes no game properly.
That is one of the greatest clips of all time.
For people who haven't seen that, go ahead, type in what's nuts
What's
into
Nuts.
YouTube.
That's who was that presenter? He was after Darcy.
Francis, I can't remember his second name.
A man lost to time.
He works in, I think he works for Highland Radio now, which is the highest listenership of any locals. I used to be
Yeah.
mad into local radio when I was younger.
Now, when you say highest, is that like an elevation?
Well, no, like the biggest audience per capita.
Okay.
Highland Radio. It's Donegal.
I have
Yeah.
a feeling all of this, like the smaller counties around Ireland, claim the same thing.
Per capita,
Because I used to work
yeah.
Sure.
for KCLR in Kilkenny.
Did
and,
ya?
Yeah, and they
Yeah,
were like
yeah.
very adamant. We're the biggest listenership in Ireland
Oh,
if
isn't
you go
it
off per
amazing?
capita.
Every JCLR day comes out, it's like more listeners, even though like half the country is leaving, you know,
Yeah.
due to the economy being fucked. But we still find more and more listeners to
Well, it
listen
that
to
makes
our
sense
radio.
when your loved ones have left for, England, America, and Australia. Who do you turn to in your hour of need? But local radio.
Midlands 103. Yeah.
LMFM, that's ours.
Oh, yeah.
Loudmead frequency modulator. Wait, is that right?
Did you?
Loudmead FM.
Have you ever done anything on Atlantic 252?
No.
Because that's around Meath. Like Atlantic 252 was a long wave radio station that went across the UK and Ireland in the late 90s.
Yeah.
And they hired like English sounded DJs and brought them to Meath and just didn't really share that it was broadcasting from Meath at all
Okay.
in order to get the UK audience.
Oh, okay.
It's really because I
That-
used to listen to it because my dad's from England. I was born in England, and when I moved to Ireland, I was like, well, this is the connection I have
Mhm.
to Britain,
Yeah.
and it was coming from Meath
From next
all
door.
this time. Yeah,
Jesus.
Faking it. It's like that. What they're
Atlantic
filming
FM.
it now at the minute, aren't they? Or they're just down in the Three Arena. They do an American game show,
Yes.
but they film it in Dublin and don't tell anyone.
in the
Yeah,
Tree
yeah.
Arena.
Well, no, it's down in what's the studio?
Ardmore Studios, is it?
Studio.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
Yeah,
Just don't
which
tell
is
anyone.
with bizarre. Apparently now it's cheaper to fly people over to Wicklow
whoa,
to like participate in this thing and just pretend it's in America.
that's right. So that's a bit like Squid Game, the game that's in England.
Is it?
Well,
Wait, what the new Squid
the
Game
new
thing?
Squid Game is like in
Okay.
England.
So that's not a sequel to the first season. It's just a reality show.
It's a
is it?
reality show where. Have you seen the first season?
Yeah.
Maybe we're chatting too much shit here.
No,
sorry,
listen,
but,
this is-
I know the name of the
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
They just pointed it again.
But like Squid Game, the TV show is like capitalism is bad, and isn't it bad that we're kind of in this fucking system and we need to
Yeah.
get out of it, you know? And then it's like nowadays, like quiz shows, like before in the 90s, it would be like, what would you like to spend the money on?
Yeah.
I'd like to build a conservatory, or I'd love to go to Florida and bring the kids
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Disneyland. Now it's like, I need to replace the kidneys that I gave away for my college fees.
Yeah.
And, I need to pay. It's just,
My
the most-
tire is flat and that's financially crippled me. If I can just buy a
Exactly.
new tire, I can continue my job that I work every day.
I'm being sued for libel by Lawrence Fox, and
Yeah.
I need to get this money to get my freedom.
The billionaire crashed his private jet into my garage and that was also my house.
Yeah, exactly. I owe him money now.
Yeah,
So
I owe him, straight to a legal loophole. I owe him
He's got very good lawyers. My head dented his rocket, and I have to pay.
Yeah.
So
he legally married me and divorced, so I owe him half my stuff.
oh my gosh, yeah.
That is the whole point of Squid Game, and now they've turned that into a reality, just dangling the hope of winning money in front of people for our entertainment.
Yeah, for our entertainment.
We're the weird guys with the fucking animal masks.
That
Are
sounds
we?
silly. We should.
I guess. I don't know. But
Forget that. We should watch the James Bond reality show.
Oh, I did see that as well.
yeah.
I pulled out third episode. I was kind of like, if it's going to be this again.
Oh, really? Okay, I haven't
you-
seen any of it yet now.
Oh, no.
it sounds terrible.
Yeah.
I mean,
But fair play to your man from Secession. Just
Yeah.
like go in, it's your 15 minutes of fame, get all the money you can.
King.
Yeah.
Who from Secession?
Brian Cox.
Brian
has been
Cox is the voice of. He's pretending to be the villain. Is he the villain in it?
Yeah.
I presume he must be the villain.
Well, that's not Brian Cox's 15 minutes of fame.
At the
He's an
end-
extremely famous actor.
It's
What do
right
you think
now.
he's cashing in on Secession, a huge television show,
All
at the
I'm
end of a
saying is-
storied career? He was the original Hannibal Lecter.
That's true.
He was, and we tried to
He's
watch
in
that
Super
film.
Troopers.
You say that? We tried to watch that film.
that
You
doesn't
made
matter.
us turn it off. You made us turn it
You
off.
fell asleep
Michael
during
Mann's Manhunter.
Michael,
Wow.
This is just
Wow.
classic bickering now. Look what you've done.
I love this podcast.
Michael, I wanted to watch Michael Mann's Manhunter because it's a funny thing
Yeah.
to say. And
yeah.
he's in it. But then Signs of the Lambs came out shortly afterwards, and it's a much better.
Destroy. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Also, like, Brian Cox was like super poor when he was a kid, and relied on like the government money in the 60s to help him become an actor, and he's sad that that's not the case now for future actors. Like, it's really cool bits and bobs.
it's
Anyway,
good. Yeah,
Yeah.
He's in X-Men.
gee,
He plays Stryker.
Striker.
I just really like when like classical theater actors are in just shitty superhero films,
Yes.
and he brings such gravitas to the role of the Wolverine man. But well, listen, we're dancing around the real topic
Yeah.
of you wanted to talk to us about Belvedere House,
So Belvedere House is a big house.
a big old house.
Oh, a big house.
Yeah.
But it's a hunting lodge.
yes.
Like, so it was basically built by some rich lad. Can't
Oh, yeah.
remember who. Who wanted a cool place to hang out, and he built this hunting lodge beside a lake, so you got a beautiful view of Lough Ennell.
Yes.
And I often go to this place because there's a hotel built beside it, and most of the weddings I've been to have been in this hotel.
What's the name of the hotel again?
The hotel.
Granel something.
Oh shite! What's it called?
It doesn't
it's
really
not
matter.
Belvedere.
I think it shows up a bit in this
Does it?
thing.
Does it? Yeah.
The Anyway, listen.
Is it the Greville Arms? Is like in Mullingar itself. Does that come up?
That the Greville Arms, because I think that's where the bear ends up.
Right. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
you know, there's a little. So, Westmeath is a county in the middle of Ireland. For people who don't know what it is.
Yeah. Let's
And-
start high level.
Yeah.
It's west of me.
West of Meath. And like, I'm from Westmeath. I love Westmeath. There used to be 5 provinces in Ireland:
Yes.
the Connacht, Ulster, Munster, Leinster, and Meath.
Yes.
And Westmeath and Meath were involved in that. My village is like one village away from the ancient centre point of Ireland,
Mm.
where the goddess Eru is buried. So I'm very into the Catstone is what it's called, and I'm very
Yeah.
interested in like local history. And fuck all happens in Westmeath.
Well, you've
So,
got you're are you Moat or Rosemount?
Ballymore.
Ballymore. Okay.
So they kill me. Like, I tell people Mullingar
yeah,
because
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like a simpler way, but then people from my village are
I
like,
know.
why are you lying? And
I'm
you're
the same.
from,
Yeah.
So I'm from Ballymore, which is a big town. I'm from, feckin', I might as well give you the full
Give
location.
us the address.
I'm from a council estate called Market Hill,
Yeah.
which is called Market Hill because there used to be a massive market in this little village that
On
I'm
a
from.
hill, presumably.
On a hill. And Ballymore used to be the county capital of Westmeath. The same way in
Yeah.
Offaly, Dangan used to be the county capital of
Yeah.
Offaly. And then the bigger place, Tullamore. Like, if you look at Dangan, you'd be like, this could not be this centre point of anything.
Anytime I'm in Offaly, is Dangan's always signposted. You're like, why?
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 Yeah,
Who's
yeah,
warning
yeah.
me where it is?
It was important at one time, and
Interesting.
Ballymore was important at one time.
It still is.
Yeah, well, my estate has a Jacobite watchtower in it that I used to play in when I was a
Okay.
kid. So like now it's filled with like agricultural equipment. but it's a 2-story. It is now a 2-story building that you could crawl up the stairs. We used to play wars when we were a kid, like kick rocks at each other. Like a fella fully kind of big rock in the face once. Like, but yeah. So I've always been interested in like local history. And stuff.
You're touching on a lot of points that are going to show up in this.
Amazing.
The Jacobites are involved.
Yes.
A lad gets a rock thrown at his head as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
This is great.
Cool. History repeats itself, doesn't it?
It's truly beautiful. But my friend Paula Fox went to school in and around you. She's from Rosemont.
She's from Rosemont, where Michael Jackson recorded an album. Always jealous of Rosemount. Yeah. Rosemount voted no in the gay marriage referendum. Ballymore voted yes, and we kept our post office for longer. I was going to say we still have a post office now. We lost it.
Well, you kept it for longer.
We did. A good few years we held out. We had that post office. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. There's we've done horse sleep. That's there as well.
Yeah. Oh, amazing.
We did a short bit about the horse sleep horse statue.
Yeah.
Which was supposedly, there was a rumor that it was gifted, or that it was a gift from Ferrari, and then because he'd been snubbed by Ferrari, it was sold to the people of horse sleep.
Wow.
Which is a complete made up story. Yeah. But it's like a statue showed up at some point in the 90s, and someone was like, I know what happened here.
Like literally anytime like a helicopter passed over our heads, or like a private plane, or hot air balloons, we would go, that's Michael Jackson in there.
Yeah.
We never knew it was, but because he came once to Westmead, we're like, that's him again.
Yeah.
I don't know why he'd be travelling via hot air balloon. It does seem very him.
Reasons.
It does seem like the sort of thing he would do in fairness.
It would, wouldn't it? Yeah, he's escaping justice in a hot air balloon.
People got mad about the time he held the baby over the hotel balcony. You should see what he was getting up to above Westmead.
Yeah, Jesus.
But, I used to visit this Belvedere house quite a lot because it was one of the only tourist attractions in Westmead.
Yeah.
And so you'd learn a lot. So all of the stuff that I think I can remember has been from visiting Belvedere House, going on a tour, looking around and reading about it and stuff. And it's just, it's a varied history with that house.
Yeah. Well, I'll throw out some stuff.
Will you throw me out the stats of when it was built and stuff?
So, the Rochford family.
Rochford.
The Rothschilds.
Because Rochford Bridge is a...
Yes.
Is a town. Okay, cool. Yeah. There's a Rochford Bridge Castle. And it's also a big dogging area in Rochford Bridge near the Protestant graveyard.
Which side of the bridge? Oh, the Protestant graveyard.
It's always
just
if there's anything abandoned and Protestant, there's dogging. All the time in Ireland.
Just to clarify, it's the Protestant church.
Yes.
Yeah.
So everyone knows, anyone listening, where to stay away from, and what time should they stay away from, roughly.
I'll check. There's a website with the top dogging areas.
Yeah, I was parked up in Phoenix Park there the other night. Because the sun goes down at like 5 o'clock, so all of a sudden it's dark, and by God, it was like, why are all these people walking around outside of their cars?
Wow. What, masturbating?
Just trying to look in the windows, like, oh yeah, this does make sense. Especially now with the housing crisis, you gotta get a bit
of privacy. Away from your parents, but in front of strangers.
But, right.
Is there a bumper sticker for that?
I don't know, I assume so. But, so they came over to Ireland in the 13th century, and they're going to be the main family that are involved with Belvedere House. Robert Rochford. See, we were talking about this before we started. They all have the same name, and they all went by the Earl of whatever. So it's hard to try and figure out.
Granddaddy.
We'll start right. So James Rochford is the first guy.
Okay, the OG
that I have. The OG. So at this point, they've been in the country for a couple of 100 years. This guy's around the 1600s. This is just to set off the main character. He's a leading lieutenant in Cromwell's army during the English Civil War.
A good guy.
A good guy. That's point one against him.
Yes. I was being very sarcastic there.
On the other hand, I'll give you the facts about him, and you two can decide whether he's a good man or not.
Okay.
I would say the next point, his nickname was Prime Iron Rochford.
Prime Iron.
I'd say that's 1 point for the band.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Prime Iron.
His mother was named Thomasine Rochford. Not really important, but I'd never heard the name. Thomasine. Yeah, like Thomasine.
Like Thomas and then I-N.
Thomas with a Z and then I-N-E.
Ooh.
A lady's name.
Thomasine.
Yeah, I don't know. But
usually before Instagram, there was just who just mail himself copies of photos of what he was up to that day.
The Thomasine. I'd say this is, another point either for or against him. Prime Iron. He was tried and executed by firing squad for killing a major in his regiment, apparently by accident. But that does mean he assassinated a Cromwellian major.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
That's probably...
Do we find out why Prime Iron?
No, that's a great nickname. But then right away, the next fact after him is like, he was executed by Cromwell for assassinating one of his own majors.
Maybe he was anemic and it was a sarcastic nickname.
Maybe.
You know?
Yeah, he's iron deficient. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's the first guy.
Here, Prime Iron, huh?
So his second oldest son, Robert Rockford.
No, I can't get over it. It was like another lad called Iron. He was like, I'll one up you.
I'm Prime.
Yeah,
Prime Iron.
Prime Iron. I mean, was that a compliment back then? Was he primed with an iron?
Maybe.
Was he good at ironing? Was good at golf? He had a prime iron drive.
Absolutely.
Who knows? It's the 1600s. The man has a weird nickname. He gets executed. I don't know how he accidentally killed one of his majors. He might have shot him. But he's involved in the English Civil War. I don't know how much warring he did over here, but he's good Protestant stock.
Right.
So his son, he comes along right after him, Robert Rockford. He gets into law. They have to leave Ireland during the 1690 events. So we did a whole series on this ages ago, but basically it's when like King Billy gets the crown in England. James II is kicked off the crown. He takes over Ireland, makes it a Catholic country, so all the Protestants have to run away to England.
So would that be around the time where the Jacobite watchtower was built?
Exactly, yeah. So that's what then he would have been, James's guys are called the Jacobites, the Jacobians. Yeah. So he runs away to England. He starts to be, he's sort of high up in the King Billy William government. He's a high-ranking lawman, which means that after the events of 1690, James gets defeated by William. He's, awarded a load of lands and lots of positions because of his being a big Protestant ally. He's appointed to help rebuild Derry, which he would have called Londonderry, very vehemently. So this is just leading up. So
he would have built the walls of Derry.
He would have rebuilt the walls after the siege. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So this makes sense as to why he has a big, lovely house in the middle of the country. He's doing a lot of Protestant
dirty work.
Stuff. Yeah. So he's the MP for Westmeath in 1692 after the war. Becomes the Irish Attorney General in 95. He's a very rich, very powerful man, but that doesn't really make you a lot of friends necessarily. He is in charge of, so basically, James comes over, takes all the land off the Protestants to give to the Catholics. He loses the war like 3 years later. They have to give all the land back to the Protestants. And he's in charge of allocating the land back.
Wow.
And there's a lot of...
he chose to live... No, he didn't choose to live in Westmeath because it's a hunting lodge, isn't it? So I presume his main residence is somewhere else.
He owns several estates.
Yeah.
And he starts to... so I don't know if this is true or not, but a lot of people felt that they'd ask for their land back and he'd be like, actually... I think that's my land. So he starts getting an awful lot of land around Westmeath, which led to some guy in 1704 stabbed him, waited outside Andrew's Church in Dublin and stabbed him in the leg.
Did he survive?
He did survive. Because you can't keep a good man down. I mean, he's just survived with hate in his heart.
Wow. So he's the enemy of like old Protestants that used to own land and Catholic.
Yeah, so he's managed to he's pissed off both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah, by hoarding land in Westmeath. But it's he gets married.
It sounds like everyone hates him.
Yeah.
And why is he chose to live in the middle of the country?
Just so he can look at everyone in the eyes.
It is a wonderfully located county.
It is beautiful. Yeah. But it's his grandson, also Robert Rockford, who's the main guy we'll talk about. So he's the guy who... I guess is probably most of the stories you've heard about Belvedere House. Yeah,
so he's like, there are two walls that are famous in Mullingar.
Yes.
One is the musical wall, where you rub a stick along this wall and it makes a song. It's just like, and the other one is the jealous wall.
Yes.
Which is, if I remember it, the biggest Gothic folly ever built in Ireland.
Yeah.
And a folly is a wall that is decorative, that is there to block out a view. It's not used for any other purpose. And Robert used this to block out the view of his brother's house, which was across the lake. George, I think his name was.
Yeah.
And his brother's house was supposed to be looking sweet. It was supposed to be a cool house.
Yeah.
And Robert was jealous of this, and he built a wall to block out the view. There's also like a rumor as well that he thought that his brother was riding his wife.
So
made her life a hell.
Yeah. So that's the other part of his story, but it's actually two separate brothers.
Oh, yeah, so holy.
One, because we were reading this the other day, you would think that it kind of, not that it makes sense, but it follows like he thought his wife was cheating on him with his brother, so he built this giant wall to block the view.
That's what my impression
fell out with both the brothers.
Feck off. So there was another brother that was riding, that he thought was riding the...
So really it's probably his fault.
If
you're the common... If you're the problem with...
It's like the Kardashians. It's like, sounds like a Courtney problem. You know, Courtney falls out with... I don't know much about that.
I was going to say, I don't know how you think that we did.
Reference.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm going to appeal to this demographic. So
I know.
Just like one of the Kardashians.
Let's get those people involved in the shite. History podcast.
If you fall out with one sibling, right, could be their fault. Fall out with both siblings, maybe start looking at you. But
your wife cheats on you, probably your fault.
That is true.
Mm-hmm.
So he's famous or infamous for, he thinks his wife's cheating on him with his brother Arthur, so he locks her up in the house.
Does he beat her? I remember a reference to the rule of thumb being how I found out the rule of thumb exists, which I'm not sure is a real rule. Or
I've heard what you're probably going to say.
That you could beat your wife with a whip that was thicker than your thumb because you didn't want to leave welts on her and mark her for too long. Yeah, because she is your property and you need to look after her appearance.
Of course.
Even if she is a whore in your view or whatever.
Well, I'm sure it doesn't say that he whipped her necessarily, but he did lock her in a house for 12 years.
Right.
And then when she tried to escape, she was subject to harsher treatment, which could be the whipping at that point. I mean, he doesn't seem like the sort of guy who would be like, I won't hit a lady.
No, I'm not going to hit a lady.
Outside his remit.
He's been working out his thumb. Trying to shed off. He's been on marathon.
Oh, Fat Thumb Rockford.
That was his nickname.
Yeah. But he locks her in the house for like 12 years. And more so for a long old time. Basically until he dies. And then their son, releases her.
Yeah, that's a lovely
lovely little moment. A nice finish off to that bit of the story.
How old was he?
How old was he when he died? All these people...
No, how old was the son when he did it? Because that's a nice story, but it's like if the son was 30 and he's like, I could have the last 12 years. So like, I needed the dad to die for.
Yeah. Good point.
I suppose. It says he released her. It's like he basically just didn't keep her in prison.
Wow. What a good son.
What a fucking legend. But one bit of irony or whatever, Belvedere, I think, is the Italian for good view.
Yes, good view,
He built a big wall to block the view.
So true.
Yeah.
So true.
So
you could just build onto your house. Like one up them.
Yeah.
Instead of building a whole fake wall. Or just don't look at his house.
Yeah. Well, one of the issues, I guess, is money as well, because he did throw his brother into a debtor's prison. That was the one who he thought was sleeping with his wife.
Yeah.
He threw him into some horrible debtor's prison in Dublin. Which, I don't know how much you know about debtor's prisons in the 1700s, but it's not good.
Really?
It's not great. They used to have a place called the Rat Room.
Oh, no.
I'm only half remembering this name, but you have to pay. You're like in this lice-infested, horrible prison, but you have to pay to rent your room. Yeah,
because a lot of prisons I went to the prison museum in Nottingham last year.
Yeah.
And they had to pay. Yeah. They had to pay to stay in prison.
But if you're in prison for not having money, you're not going to be able to afford to pay your rent.
Or some relative could come and pay for you. And
how do you get out then?
If you have a rich cousin,
that
goes like, oh shit.
But if not, do you break rocks to pay for your rent?
If not, you go down into the rat prison where you can't afford the bed. You go into the worst prison.
Oh,
yeah. But I don't, and then It's a bad state of affairs anyway.
I suppose it's like being like Bernie Madoff or something like that. Like where if you're really rich, you can get good lawyers that'll get you to an open prison.
Oh, sure.
Nice
yeah.
time,
I don't think
you know?
Bernie Madoff's in rat prison.
No, he's in hell now, isn't he? He's dead.
Is he dead?
I'll check. Is he? Maybe.
I feel like he might still be going.
Oh, well then I'm sorry, Bernie. I thought you had libeled the dead.
No.
Libel
him all you want.
Wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Allegedly.
Yeah. Well, men like that don't die.
No.
No.
They got adrenochrome. They got, you know.
I do remember like people, because Shane McGowan died there last week, the same day as Henry Kissinger. And people were like, is there any justice in the world? Shane McGowan, dead at 65, beautiful musician. Henry Kissinger lived to 100 years old, the old, bitter, angry man. Where is the justice? So, well, Henry Kissinger's a very rich, wealthy American guy who had connections to the fucking health industry.
Yeah.
Shane McGowan probably should have died 30 years ago.
Yeah.
It's not that much of a...
Yo.
Was he
mystery.
only 65?
Only 65. Yeah, but I mean...
Fair play
It's
to him.
not that shocking.
No,
considering what he was doing.
I thought he was like 80.
No.
No, actually, it wouldn't be 80. Never
No,
mind.
it wouldn't be. He was 65.
Yeah, he didn't
But...
even get to enjoy his retirement. All that hard work.
Yeah.
I had one day off. Retirement.
He just retires. He puts down the pint. He's like, that was a lot of work.
Well, that's... Yeah, so Robert Rockford, his cause of death, he died at 66, but no one's really sure how he died. It might have been attacked by dogs in the dead of night. He could have banged his head off a rock, just like that old
Wow.
friend. But he seems to have been
Violently
attacked, murdered
dead.
in some fashion.
Wow.
Which, you know, is a fine end for
Such a prick.
such a prick.
Yeah.
So that's him. And then the third guy I kind of focused on who lived in the house was, here we go, Lieutenant Colonel Charles Kenneth Howard Bury.
Beautiful. So we got
Nice.
this dude.
Yeah,
Yes.
Do you remember anything about this guy?
So he's the second last dude to own
Yes.
to live in Belvedere House
Yes.
before it went to the council.
Before we went to the council.
So this dude, I'll tell you the headline
Yeah.
of what I know about this dude. He is, he must have been good crack, because the stuff that I read about was like he's a raconteur. And he's an explorer. He went. He did an expedition to Mount Everest.
Yes.
And he saw something, and he saw something, and the people that were shepherding him about saw something as well, and there was a mistranslation.
Yeah.
They said this is the abominable snowman, which means dirty snowman. I think they were supposed to say like dirty snowman. He's a Yeti.
Yeah.
But he coined the term
Yes.
abominable snowman.
Yeah.
That's the thing that he's most famous for, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
Well, he found
Amazing.
what?
He found the Yeti.
He found a Yeti.
Yeah. So the long story.
Snow
yes,
Bigfoot.
please give the
Yeah.
long story. Yeah.
So he's born in 1883. So that's a good 120 years after the Rockford people were talking about. I didn't bother trying to follow the lineage as to how he got it.
It's not a
but-
straight lineage. I
No.
think there's like a reference to Jonathan Swift. There's a middle bit of Jonathan Swift was in he was with two rich people. One woman was pregnant, and they were in a horse and carriage going through Westmeath, and an old wizened hand put its hand in and said they wanted money, and they were like, no, get away, this wretched hand. And it's like, I curse you. You're going to give birth, but you're going to die at midnight when you give birth.
Damn.
So she started giving birth, and she was crying and going, I'm going to die. And Jonathan Swift was with them, and he put all the clocks forward to 1 o'clock to say, you've survived, it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
But then the clock struck 1 o'clock, which is actually midnight.
Yeah.
And she looked at Jonathan Swift. She shook her head. She cried, and then she died.
Fuck.
Straight away.
Damn.
So the curse worked.
Daylight savings.
Oh
So
yeah.
Jonathan, the clocks, he put it to 1, but it's gone back again anyway.
Exactly. Fucked up.
Damn.
But sorry. Yes. But this dude.
But this dude, well, that's Swift. He was in there somewhere then. So it jumps around all these different big old families with weird names. It gets to a guy called Charles Brinsley Molly. He dies and leaves it to Howard Bury. So I don't know what his connection is to the Rockfords, but whatever. They're probably cousins. But he's the second last guy to live in the estate. He's an adventurer, traveler, raconteur. There's no raconteurs anymore.
No.
Raconteur just meant like wealthy, rich guy.
Who didn't beat his wife.
Yeah,
what
that was
a cool guy.
He mightn't have had a wife.
We'll talk about why he didn't beat his wife in a second. But, so he travels a lot over to the east, what we would have called at the time the Orient, but now we just call that part of the world. It's a giant map over there, which we keep pointing to on the show, even though it's out of shot. But, so you were talking about the bear, or we were talking about the bear earlier. He's traveling on his way to Kulja, which is in northern India, or subcontinental India at the time. And he records in his diaries that he sees some men playing with a 3-year-old bear cub. And he somehow gets the bear and he calls it Aju, which is Kazakh, the Kazakhstan language for bear.
Wow.
And the bear...
I bid you adieu.
And he brings the bear back to Belvedere at some point.
Wow,
so it became this feature of the house where there was like a bear. And the bear... So it talks
like
about
a brown bear? Like a giant
bear, yeah. So he domesticated it, I guess. Or they had already domesticated it when he got it.
Oh my gosh.
But then it's in Belvedere House, and it's like... And it talks about how much he loves animals and all this sort of stuff. And the bear ended up in Dublin Zoo. And then, this is the bit that doesn't really make sense to me, but it's in the Greville Arms Hotel, which is the hotel we were trying to think of earlier, I think.
The Greville Arms Hotel, which has its own tiny museum upstairs.
Yeah, and
it has a piece of moon rock and stuff.
Well, in the museum is now the head of the bear.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which is a weird, because the whole way along it's like, and he loved animals, and he brought the bear home from Kazakhstan, and now its head is hung proudly in the hotel beside his house, which is exactly what he would have wanted. But yes, that's where it is.
Oh my gosh, that's cool. And what about the Yeti? Was I right about the abominable snowman?
He fights in World War I, which is classic raconteur stuff. Going over to fight the Germans. He did get captured. He was a prisoner of war for most of the war.
Oh no!
So he comes back in 1919, which is a year after. I don't know. It takes ages for him to get released anyway. By the time he gets back to Ireland, it's now like the War of Independence. All this stuff is kicking off. At the time,
so he's coming back to an Ireland that is free.
No, well, in the midst of it.
The War of Independence. Sorry, in my head, I heard like Civil War for some reason.
Well, it's about to be. Basically, he doesn't hang around for long, which is also classic raconteur. Whenever there's, because we've done stuff about this before, like the all these sort of manor houses were getting burnt down all around the country. The people were like, taking it out on the big house on the hill, burning them down. He had some sort of position where he was meant to be in charge of this sort of stuff. But, in fairness, he just spent several years in a German prisoner of war camp, so he fucks off and goes mountain climbing.
Nice.
He looks out at the burning mansions and the people in distress and the turmoil. He's like, you know what? Let's find out what's at the top of Mount Everest. This seems like a good time to do it.
Holy shit.
So he fucks off to Mount Everest. So the early 20s, they're doing like this exploration thing.
1820?
No, 1920.
1920, okay.
Yeah. So in the 1920s, he's over there.
That's a more believable time.
Oh, yeah. Be a raconteur.
When World War I is happening and the Irish War of Independence.
You can prove it happened. Yeah. I've seen books. We have some of them here.
So he meets with the Dalai Lama at the time.
Amazing.
To get passage to go up the mountain.
He exists.
He does exist. And so when he's up there, he records again his diary, The Legends of the Mysterious Abominable Snowman, or Yeti. He describes that he sees something 20,000 feet above the ground, a human-like figure crossing across the snowy plains, almost like some sort of snowman.
Right.
The Tibetans say that it's the track of the Methokanjimi, and translates roughly into the abominable snowman.
Okay.
So he brings back this story to the West, and he's credited, which is the highest honor you can get. If you look at the Yeti Wikipedia page, he's right there. That's
amazing.
The guy what brought it back to the West. So this is a time when it's sort of the last era of the age of exploration, when all these raconteur types are like, let's climb things and see stuff and get out of here, Indian man. Let's go up this hill.
Yeah.
And so they all get excited.
Give me a bear.
I'm the first man up here. And meanwhile, they've been traveling up and down the mountain for literally generations. But he's a white man with a stick.
Did he draw a photo? Or did he draw like a picture? Did he?
No, he just describes it in his diaries. Mm-hmm. But it's the first kind of instance in the West of this idea of a humanish snow creature thingy. So that's it. Yeah. So the last bit of his story then is he comes back. It's World War II time. He goes back to serve in the army in World War II.
Whoa.
And he meets his dear friend, partner, and lover, Rex Beaumont, a man.
And do we like? How do we know he's a lover?
Well, it's one of these classic. Yeah, it says that they're friends, but they meet at war.
In Westmead, we don't have many out.
Well,
men,
okay.
You know?
I'll give you the evidence.
We just did the Joe Dolan episode.
Yeah.
We got Westmead bachelors. You know.
I'll give you the evidence, and you can decide.
Okay.
But they meet at war.
Yeah.
Rex is an actor.
Yeah.
A poet. Is a fashion designer.
Amazing.
You can tell me when to stop. And an officer in the Royal Air Forces.
All right.
I think ding, ding, ding.
Okay.
So they meet, and Rex is born in 1914, so he would have been in his late 20s, I think, when they meet, and Charles would have been in his 50s.
Right.
There's a 30-year age gap between the two of them anyway. After the war, the two men moved back to Belvedere House. Check.
Yes.
They lived together there.
It's a different type of bear.
Different kind of bear. So the two of them are living in the house together. They become known for their lavish parties thrown around town. They're big fans of the races. They're often seen at horse racing together. And also big fans of the Rose of Tralee. Rex acts as a judge of the beauty pageant.
Wow.
Which could go either way, evidence-wise. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, if he's whatever. Anyway, he's heavily involved in that.
The Rose of Tralee.
Yeah. So this is the main bit of evidence, I guess. Charles gets sick and dies in 1963 and leaves Rex in charge of his whole estate.
Right.
So he's the last guy to own the house. Rex is put in charge of his charitable affairs and running of the estate and all this sort of stuff. So the thing I was reading says that Rex goes too hard into the charities and loses the money that way. But I think this is a common thing of so this is like the 1960s, 70s at this point. Just because you own a big old manor house, if you don't have, especially in an independent Ireland, you're not getting money from anywhere.
No.
You now have to pay the upkeep of a giant house with no income.
Yeah.
Your professional job is Rose of Tralee judge. You're not going to be able to afford to keep this giant estate going. So he sells it in 1982 to the Westmeath County Council.
Yes, and I think he sells off most of the furniture before that, so they don't have any original,
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I fully recommend people should go. The ceiling work is beautiful.
Yeah, I want to go. I would like to go see it now, and see the Folly. But
the Folly's fine.
Nah. Well, they let him live in the house until 1988 when he dies.
Wow.
So it's a kind of, you see that a lot as well, where there's a weird, the government buys it, but they'll wait until you die until they take it over. But then in 88, they would have started turning it into a museum.
I'm sure then he was like, I shouldn't have sold all the furniture.
Bloody hell.
I really didn't think you were going to go for that.
So that's it. Those are a handful of stories about Belvedere. So from 1988, that would have been just time for a young Alison Spittle to go into the museum and see. So what would it be?
I wasn't born yet, but
but it's just that the late 80s, early 90s period where it becomes the museumy house.
Yeah. Now you said the moon rock. What's moon rock?
There's a bit of moon rock, or it's a moon rock or a comet rock. It's a bit of rock from space. Yeah. That's in the Gravel Arms. It's behind a glass case. The Gravel Arms is like a normal hotel, got a carvery.
Just straight down the middle.
Straight down the middle.
Normal hotel.
Yeah, straight in, no kissing. A vanilla.
Is it haunted?
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's haunted. I know James Joyce used to stay there, and he did a lot of like Joyce used to. I think he traveled around the place and just absolutely melted people for money.
Sure.
And, I think he stayed in Westmeath and had a little nice time for a little while.
Yeah. There is some connection to Westmeath and Mullingar and him.
Yeah. And I think for some reason Mullingar had its own currency a couple of years ago and put James Joyce on the front of it.
Had its own currency?
Yeah. Like a weird...
That feels like the main story here.
Well, I think it was like a kind of like a council, Westmeath County Council.
Okay.
Trying to encourage people to spend money within the county.
Yeah.
Like itchy and scratchy kind of money.
Yeah. Kind of like, I'll
Dolan
trade
dollars.
you Dolan dollars. Yeah, Joe Dolan. Why didn't they put Joe Dolan on the front of it?
I don't know. Yeah, I suppose it's James Joyce who was there for a while.
But it's like if you're going, who's the most famous person that ever stayed in Westmeath? Michael Jackson. Isn't that, you know? Jackson books.
What's the name of the studios, the recording studio?
It's a secret.
It's not. It's really not. There's a few different people over the years who've been. I can't remember.
Paolo Nutini, Muse.
Is
it called Rose? It's Rose something. It's owned by the same people that own the Tree Arena. I think.
Oh.
Is it something Lodge?
Grouse Lodge.
Grouse Lodge. Yes.
We mentioned that a few times in the show because it is funny that it's
just mad because like Michael Jackson went bowling in Tullamore. There's CCTV footage of him going bowling with his family, and also there's a shop in Athlone that said this is Michael Jackson's favorite shop in Westmeath. He browsed here for 3 hours.
Oh,
like
my.
that was their big selling point. I took a picture of that, and people were like, "How dare you share that horrible man's
3 hours?"
But yeah, he spent 3 hours. When they say browse, that means he didn't buy anything, did he?
That's true. Yeah, because he didn't buy. It was his favorite shop.
It was his favorite shop that he
couldn't
wouldn't
find
buy
anything
anything.
to buy.
I didn't know.
This isn't the story of him. I don't know if it was in Ireland or not, but I know at some point, like they got rid of all the people in a supermarket, so that as a novelty for him, he could go into a supermarket and pretend to be like a normal person doing a full shop. I really hope it's that one.
Oh wow, that would be amazing.
That explains 3 hours.
Yeah. No, this was
Look
a
at me,
trinket
potato
play.
waffle.
Just trinket,
It's like, you know, those kind of towns, those small towns in Ireland where there's a trinket shop, which would be for women who like crystals and goths as well, where they could buy a Nightmare Before Christmas t-shirt or whatever. So it's all you need for the alternative lifestyle in Ireland, which is not into GAA.
Yeah, it's a charity shop in the middle of the town that's just full of bits from... Well, this is behind the Joe Dolans.
This isn't a goth shop. Everyone died in these clothes.
This is as goth as it gets.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. There is a museum in Athlone as well. If you do go to Westmeath.
Yeah. Oh, we've been to Westmeath.
Have you?
3 or 4 times.
What, for like fun?
Yeah. We've done gigs out there. We've done stand up and we did one live Shite Talk out there.
Yeah.
Did you?
In the Columbia Bar.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Holy moly.
A not particularly well attended show.
No show that I've done in Westmeath has been particularly well attended. But there's great places like you can find out so much about. Like, there used to be there's a Protestant graveyard in my village. There's a Protestant church, and there's a massive grave with 4 fists, like big steel fists at each corner, like a 4-poster bed. Protruding out of this grave. And when I was a kid, because I couldn't read the gravestone properly, someone told me that was Muhammad Ali's grave.
And the fists were like boxing.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, well, okay, that's it. I mean, he wasn't even dead at the time. But I was like, that's his grave.
Makes
sense. Was prime Iron Mike Tyson.
That's it. Iron Mike Tyson.
There's a famous photo of Muhammad Ali when he came over to Ireland and the guards are like holding them. Did you ever see that?
No, show me that.
It hits a little different these days because it's basically just the police. Well, let's see. Mohammed.
Yeah, just go with that. There can't be many.
There can't be many. Yeah, there we go.
Oh.
Did you ever see this?
No.
Did he die recently or something? It was doing the rounds.
Yeah. So a while back, no, he wasn't doing much anyway because he had...
Yeah, but I don't know why this was just doing the rounds recently. Is this... Yeah. But it was during, because I remember seeing it around the like George Floyd times. It was like, do you know, it's a different time. And they're like, do you know what would be funny now? What if we pretend to arrest you?
I'll just bonk you on the head there.
We'll pose together in a photo. What's a photo for us to get into now? We'll pretend to throw you off a bridge. And you look there. We'll have look at the big smile on his face.
Wow.
Here we go. Bonk you over the head with a truncheon. But anyway,
God,
that was
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. I don't know if that was in Westmeath or not, but
Could be.
Why not?
Mhm.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why
not?
is it Westmeath and Meath is just Meath? Is there a history to that?
Well, because Meath is also
Yeah.
the Irish for middle, which
Yeah.
is funny that Westmeath
It's
is
not
west
in
of
the
middle.
middle.
Not in the middle really at all.
You can't claim to be in the middle if you have a coast, even though it's tiny. But
Yeah.
Meath does have a coast.
Where?
Bettystown.
Bettystown.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
That's
it's
true.
tiny. It's tiny. It's one of
Yeah.
those like pub quiz questions
Yeah, yeah.
as well, where you go, oh, it's
That
got
was
the
a little
smallest-
roller coaster for me there. I was so incredulous. And I know Bettystown. I've been there a lot of
Yeah.
times. Like, yeah, that shut me up pretty quickly.
Did it? You were like, where?
No way. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That's
Um,
like 5 minutes from where you grew up.
I don't know why. I don't know why they split, but I knew that they were a province. So they were
Yeah.
Westmeath and Meath were together, a whole province
Yeah.
Mhm.
in ancient Ireland. Before the Hill of Tara was the main government seat.
Yeah.
The place I live near called Ishnock was the main kind of place where people would meet up. So you had your Ulster, your Connacht, Leinster,
Munster.
Munster,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and Meath.
Yeah. But that's
Um,
this is a useless trivia.
yeah.
The Irish word for province is Cuaga, which means
Cuaga.
5 because there were 5 of them.
That's so
Ah.
cool.
Yeah.
And also, like, I remember in the millennium, I would have been about 11. I remember seeing Native American men in full regalia gear sipping a Guinness in my local pub. And it was because they visited Ishnock. Like, there was some form of, like...
Oh.
Ishnock was so ancient, it was on, like, an Egyptian cartographer's...
Yeah.
An Egyptian cartographer did a map of Ireland, and it named Ishnock as the
With
capital.
one of the first stories we did was this group called the British Israelites traced back the origins of the Ark of the Covenant, and they read the Bible, they did their homework, and they came to the conclusion that it was buried in Tara. So
Whoa!
they dug it up in the 20s.
They dug up Tara.
It must have been before, because it's back before the Irish government got in charge. They dug it up to look for the thing,
Oh
and
my
everyone went nuts.
God, they weren't
Um,
even building a road.
No,
Yeah.
That's a disgrace.
Later on, we did pave over it for no reason.
Yeah.
But
It's shocking that we have any artifacts left, because it really seems like the government only started protecting them a couple of years ago.
A couple of years ago,
literally
like
1 to 2
15 years
Yeah,
ago.
I was talking to your man who does one of the guards at the Book of Kells last time
Yeah.
I was there, and obviously they have it in the lovely like glass thing now. It was my I've only ever seen it the once, so I saw it a few months ago, and I was like, all right, it's good that they have this glass thing around. He's like, yeah, it's crazy because a couple of years ago you could just go touch it,
yeah.
and
Wow.
they weren't even charging people in. It was just down in some library free of charge. Go like not the main one, just go down and look and just thumb through it, paw
Yeah.
all the way through. That's why there's loads of rips, and it's aged like that.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, because of like modern
They were
times.
like, yeah, just fucking do whatever with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my dad's a builder, and in Mullingar, he was building like a hotel, and they found a mass grave of monks all pointing towards Mecca,
Oh shit.
and they stopped building for a couple of months. Let the architects do their thing,
Yeah.
and continued building a hotel.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
up. But they've put a statue
Yeah.
outside the hotel to go like,
like
oh,
That seems
like
to
the
be the
little on
general way
Georgia
of
Street.
doing it.
oh, it's crazy.
The
isn't
little
it?
on Georgia Street has artifacts underneath it. You can just see it down through the
Yeah.
glass. Right?
Yeah,
That's
it's
pretty
mad.
cool.
That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
But it is mad. I mean, everyone talks about like the Dublin County Council buildings
Sure. Yeah.
and what it's built over
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
We have a weird, like, even what's that house that James Joyce refers to, and it's on the River Liffey, and it's where he based Finnegan's Wake.
Yeah, it's the one that has the Christmas trees in it all year round.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like there's nothing being done
No,
to look after that.
No.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But that's, you just let everything deteriorate until it falls over. Then no one can get annoyed when you bulldoze it and build a hotel on top of it.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like the Jacobite Watchtower.
Yeah.
Like the kids were playing in it too much, and the farmer blocked it up
Mm.
with trees and stuff. But that was just so we wouldn't annoy his livestock.
As opposed to
It
keep
wasn't
the
to protect
thing. Yeah,
the.
yeah, yeah.
It was to protect the, the day-to-day living.
Yeah.
And it is so. We have so many ruins in Ireland that we
Yeah.
don't really pay attention to.
There's a big manor house near my parents' house. And this is also a thing where we were talking about, like, Rex, Beaumont. You
Yeah.
inherit these manor houses, but you can't really keep them up or whatever. So this house was near us. They ended up just gutting it. They sold all the furniture, all the fittings, like the fireplaces, the everything.
Yeah.
But they can't legally knock it down. So they just gut it all, sell everything, sell the floorboards, and then just leave it there. But now you're stuck with this ruin of a house that you can't knock because it's like protected.
But they didn't protect it.
They destroyed it, and they're like, well, you can't knock the walls down because that's against history. So now you're just stuck with this thing.
Sounds like a great festival location.
Inside an abandoned.
So much falling rocks.
Yeah.
We're looking for a venue. We want to do the Big Bag of Cans Film Festival.
Wow, that would be class. in an old kind of
Yeah. Bring them all into an old house with no roof. Now we don't know what liability insurance is, but I'm sure that won't come up.
Oh my god.
But that's pretty much pretty much it. We're almost at the hour, which means it'll come down to about 20 minutes.
Really?
Nah.
Okay.
What have you got any more facts about Westmead you want to throw out?
There was an internment camp in Athlone.
Yeah, you said that actually in I briefly looked at that. What was it during World War II?
World War II. There was like Athlone. My dad is English, and my granddad on the English side is English too. Oof. And he heard of Athlone. The only reason why is because it was on loads of different radios.
Okay.
In the olden days, instead of having your frequency number, they would have where the radio pole is located. So you'd have like Luxembourg, Athlone.
Yeah.
And like it's just such a strange thing that there's so many electronics with Athlone written on it around the world where they could like tune in.
Yeah.
There's a big radio pole there. And
I have an old record player right there with a radio thing on it, and it's got.
Does it have Athlone on it?
I'll check it out.
Have a look.
It does, because it has Luxembourg on it, and it has different towns.
There's like so there were apparently, I don't know if this ever came about, but there was plans to have like a nuclear fallout shelter in Athlone.
I remember
and you
that,
could get from the Dáil to Athlone in a quick enough fashion. There's like supposed to be like a whole town, like under Athlone that's ready for some sort of nuclear fallout. Yeah. Isn't that mad?
That's it.
Like Athlone is, like, I'm from Ballymore, which is directly in between Mullingar and Athlone.
Yeah.
They're both crazy in different ways. Like Athlone seems to be like.
Now I want to know, can you get down there? Surely that's like, there's lads trying to break into this.
There should be. But is there, like, can you see pictures?
Yeah, no, because I have a note about this, because the VIP doesn't look very sturdy now. It's the Ireland Secret VIP nuclear bunker. There you go.
Yeah. Look at that. They got phones.
Equipped with the latest in 1980s phone technology.
Why did they have those hoods? Was that so you could have a private conversation?
In your nuclear bunker.
Acoustic,
Because they knew COVID was on the way. They had it planned.
They had it planned.
It's crazy. And so the internment camp in Athlone, they had like, in Ireland, it was a neutral country, but if you were from the British side, they would throw you up to the border of Northern Ireland and let you kind of escape that way. They wouldn't be bothered handling you too much. But they didn't know what to do with the random South African Nazis or Germans or, there was people who landed into Ireland by accident, parachuted into the wrong country.
Herman Gortz, we did an episode.
Oh, I was going to say he's so cool. He's
so
a
cool,
Nazi, but
he's kind of cool though.
Big scar. He's like.
Wait till we edit around this. Someone's getting cancelled.
But we both, like, all three of us,
but the video will show
the
us
Nazi
going.
of your dreams.
Very bold.
Wearing different jumpers. Like, no.
But when I did my Leaving Cert history project, so in Ireland, for one of your exams, you do a long project over a year, I think, where you look at something that you want to do. And I did it on the internment camp in Athlone. And then it broader strokes into like who was interned, and you have like a former wrestler, just all these mad people, and they were allowed to keep their own cyanide pill.
That's a way of handling them. Just be like, I'll give you the cyanide pill. You do with that what you want.
Because they were ready to chomp down on it if like shit went down really badly.
Even though they're in a prison.
Yeah, and they were allowed out at like weekends to go to dinner dances and stuff.
Nice.
And they'd be riding half of Athlone. Like, loads of them chose to stay after the emergency was over.
You think you'd be better at football?
Yeah. But Yeah, they stuck around and had families and stuff. So there's a load of
interesting.
There's a load of people in Athlone with a racist DNA running free.
Everyone's looking at Argentina for post-war.
Be looking around Athlone.
Mullingar, just tall, blonde hair, blue-eyed.
But I always found that fierce interest.
That is fierce interest.
It's probably because my grandparents on the English side, my granddad's still alive, and he's getting to the age now. I'm sure you all have this if you've grandparents where you're like, there's not much time left. I want to know as much as possible, and I'm always asking him about the war because my great grandfather was involved in building jets and stuff, designing jets in Birmingham.
Okay,
and my other great grandfather got hit with mustard gas, I think, or some sort of gas.
Jeez.
Yeah,
that made him a bit of a grumpy. Like, as far as my granddad's like, he's just a grump.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing, sorry about this, is
well, no, just which I got to cut across your story pointlessly, but that was because there was a note about one of the Rockfords.
Yeah.
He got in a fight. Just when you said he was a bit of
cooking. We're cooking diesel here now, lads.
Just when you said he was a bit of a grump after the thing. Robert Rockford got in a duel with a guy called Richard Herbert. This is just written in his bio.
Yeah.
They shoot each other. Herbert gets a pellet through the eye. It says it came out the back of his skull, but nevertheless he survived. Although mentally he was never the same man again. It's like, no shit. Gets shot through the eye at the back of the skull. It was like he was a bit of a grump after that. You wouldn't want to get in his bad side.
A real
sourpuss. Yeah.
Look on the bright side, man. I can't look. Like, there's a bullet in my eye.
It's just such a weird way of putting it. It was like he survived, but he was never the same mentally.
It is hilarious how, if you look at history of how trauma is dealt with and war, and it's hilarious because you're like, what did that man see?
Yeah, not very much after that.
No.
Half as much as his neighbours.
When my great grandmother died, I was allowed to. I was a kid. They go pick anything you like out of the house. So I picked a director's chair. It was a green fold-out chair. I thought that looks cool.
Yeah.
And I picked out her gas mask from World War II, her ration book, and a can of pork that's still unopened to this day. Now, do I know where the can of pork is? No, it's somewhere in a house in Westmead. I think it's in the attic.
Yeah.
But it could have exploded by this point.
Probably, yeah.
It's probably
if you open
exploded.
Up, it's just full of cyanide. And they're like, sorry, boys.
Yeah. But there was a big black market in Birmingham at the time. She didn't get her rations. They just used to trade. Because I was saying to my granddad, like, what was it like back in World War II? And he's like, fine.
Yeah.
Because he was a kid.
Sure.
So he remembered stuff, but it was on the outskirts of Birmingham, so it was quite agriculturally, and they were allowed to keep stuff. But a few neighbours got direct hits to the bomb shelters.
Yeah, because Birmingham is a big industrial target.
Oh yeah, because
that's near the coast.
In Coventry, absolutely got destroyed. Absolutely decimated.
Anywhere with industry, really, with the steelworks and anything like that.
Yeah. Even back then, you're like, what'll I aim for? What about that giant pile of smoke?
That
seems,
Well, without it, you wouldn't have most of the intros to Peaky Blinders episodes.
There we go. It's big industry. It's a big it's full of canals. So if the place is full of canals, it must have been so full of industry to move stuff around. And
the canal goes through Mullingar?
Yeah, there's a canal that goes through Mullingar.
The Royal?
I can never remember.
Yeah.
I can never remember. There's two canals that come out of Dublin. The Royal and the Grand.
The Grand. The Royal is the Jingle Jangle one with the song.
Yeah.
And the Grand's the other one.
I know. I don't know.
That's the... in my head, I'm always like, which one goes past the L Triangle? That's the Royal one.
Is it?
Yeah.
And what, the L Triangle pub? Or
yeah.
I've seen a few L Triangle pubs though. Where's the
one near Crow Park? The L Triangle goes.
In the Parnell Street, or I'm trying to think of where. I drive by it all the time.
Yeah, no, it's not Parnell.
So
near Parnell Street. It's the northern one, and we're down by the Grand Canal here.
Right, that's
it's the one that ends in Grand Canal Dock with all the fancy apartments.
I wonder then, because if you get a train from Mullingar, you go along that canal near Crow Park, so it must be the Royal.
There you go, another mystery solved.
There we go, lad. There we go. You really must have like Westmead. There's nothing more to uncover now.
In
this place.
there's an Instagram page, Weird Westmead.
Of course.
Of course.
I follow it. Yeah.
We met him ages ago.
He came to my Edinburgh show.
Oh,
Did you meet him in Edinburgh?
No, we met him in Mullingar. We went to him.
Whoa.
I texted him actually
20% of our audience.
The episode was like, we're interviewing you about Belvedere and see what he got.
Yeah, what did he have?
I was too late messaging him, so he was like, do you know about the Yeti thing? I was like, what am I fucking? It's day one. Of course I know about the Yeti thing.
Yeah.
He's probably messaged me back now, but it's too late. I'm sorry.
But
Weird Westmead, hell of a
Weird
page.
Westmead, great one, yeah.
But that's it.
Yeah, we've done an hour. That's our contractual.
Obligation. Yeah.
That was fun. We touched on a lot of different things.
Yeah.
The only note I wanted to circle back to was you said now we're cooking diesel, and that reminded me.
I mean, that is not a real saying.
It's not a real
saying.
No. Sucking diesel.
Sucking.
Yeah.
What's cooking? I was combined the two.
Now we're with diesel.
We're cooking diesel. That means I'm having sex in front of the diesel without it being involved.
Cooking diesel. Yeah.
We're back to the dogging again.
Yeah.
Well, my friend his dad's from Monaghan. My friend Niall, shout out to him. And at the weekend, someone brought up green diesel, Monaghan thing, classic thing. And he's like, what do you mean, like environmentally friendly diesel?
Whoa.
I said, you're so fucking soft.
No, isn't it Jemison and Mickey Fittins? Or is that it? I think that's what green diesel is.
That's a hell of a drink.
The alcohol.
Yeah.
It's weird because in England, I did a podcast about pubs. They wanted like, what's your favorite drink? And I kind of don't drink anymore. Not that much, I just used to drink alcohol pops. Then I stopped.
Yeah.
Anyway, I could start anytime I like. Okay. But they were like, pick your favorite drinks. And I was like, okay, Fat Frog.
Sure.
And I'd explain to them what a Fat Frog was. And,
are they not still?
They just don't. But you know that like West Coast coolers don't exist in the UK.
No.
And Fat Frogs don't exist in the UK.
Weird.
Yeah.
Well,
and the term like give out doesn't work in the UK.
Oh yeah.
They don't know what that is.
They just call it doing an Irish.
Well, they say like it's so weird. You just have to go scold. Like that's what you say. It's the equivalent. What would you say give out is?
Yeah, Jesus, yeah.
Come on, like genuinely, if you to go, what is give out? It's like to try and explain what to
accost.
Yeah, I was about to say, when you're giving out.
I kept thinking, to chastise.
But that's so formal.
I know.
Like, we wouldn't. It's such
chastise that child.
The Irish English language is incredible.
Another one.
I love it.
Yeah, because I had a French roommate years ago.
Yeah.
And was talking to his family or something. I was like, oh, keep in touch. Like, if he's around, I'll give him a shout. And she messaged back being like, don't shout at him.
Oh my gosh.
No, it'd be just being like, I'll talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
I remember once an Irish fella I know was saying goodbye to an English TV producer on the phone. I said, good luck. He goes, good luck for what? Like as if like, what does that mean?
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, it's so hard.
Bold is another one.
Bold is incredible.
Yeah, we like bowled. How would you describe bold? Because in the rest of the world, it means like brave and courageous.
Yeah. It's like how we say grand as well. It's like the
bold is kind of like naughty, but not really formally naughty.
I never want to say naughty in my life.
No, we have
wrong.
There's such a good term.
Yeah, bold.
We speak in a way that's like I don't know how to describe it. It's hard because I've written a play and it's based in Oxford. It's on in Oxford now.
Yeah.
And I was chatting to the actors and they're like, yeah, this grammatically, like they thought it was a choice I made, the grammar that I used.
Oh, yeah.
But I was just writing in a way that I felt was...
Alison, it's positively Joycean the way you've jumbled up the English language here in Oxford, the home of the dictionary. Like, it's just fucking grand,
I know, that's it.
I don't know, I was just putting horror
genuinely,
into it.
I wrote it the way I wrote, and then I took out any references to shift, give out, any of that like kind of stuff.
Well, how's the play going? It seems to be
really
getting good reviews.
Yeah, delighted now. Yeah. It's very nice.
And how long's it running for?
It is running until the 23rd of December in Oxford Old Firehouse, and it's based around the lake. There's loads of lakes in Westmead. There's a lake in my village of Ballymore that had a Oh, man, why am I not talking about this? There was a massive massacre in my village.
Come on. Right.
Oh, yeah.
Episode 2. Let's go.
Yeah. The massacre years.
Yeah.
It was a Jacobite, Williamite thing.
Interesting.
They took over Mullingar, the Williamites, and they wanted to get to Athlone because that was like a really
the
good...
siege of there was a big siege in Athlone as well.
On their way to the siege of Athlone, there was a siege of Ballymore. And didn't work out well.
No, save it for Athlone.
Yeah.
You'll ruin your siege appetite.
It is like an appetite thing. I'm all full up now on my sleep.
I shouldn't have battled earlier on.
But there was like a multi-centenary celebration. Not celebration, commemoration.
Sure, yeah.
Of the massacre. And that happened like 2 years before I moved to Ballymore. Also, there used to be a restaurant in Ballymore. And that closed down 2 years before I moved there. I feel like I really missed the glory.
The glory years.
Yeah, apparently
when
it was
they had
really
food
good restaurants.
and massacres.
Yeah. Now we've got a chipper. We do have a chipper. Yeah. I'm delighted about that.
Well, we'll have to visit Ballymore next time we're over.
Please do. It's actually like the Tidy Towns has really blossomed.
Yes.
We have a statue of a man.
Nice.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm on their Wikipedia page.
Oh, sweet. Yeah. That's the dream.
Isn't that so?
Yeah. Because that's because I'm the same. I tell people I'm from Dundalk, but I'm really from Darver, which is the Ballymore.
Is it?
It's just like someplace in rural Louth.
What's the local history of Darver?
The local history, yes. So to get onto the Wikipedia page, I would need to beat. It's actually a really interesting guy called Nicholas Callan who invented the transistor. But that's one of those things that gets invented kind of simultaneously by a few different people.
Yes.
But he invented a version of it in Maynooth. And there's a little statue to him a few minutes away from my house. Well, not even a sort of esoteric, weird lightning bolt thingy. So it'll be me and him.
That's freaking
up
cool.
there someday.
There's a plaque in Ballymore to a poet that lived there for like 3 years, but I can't remember who he was.
Yeah.
But that's I love that stuff.
Yeah.
My favorite, like now that I live in London, like I'm just absolutely hoofing in local history around, like as I lived around Kentish Town, and you have really odd things like Athlone Street and Tonic Street, and there's loads of Irish names around there.
Yeah.
And my granny was in a Mike Leigh film, the first ever Mike Leigh film he did, Caffey Come Home.
Okay.
She was paid like a couple of shillings to be, she was pregnant with my mammy, and she was going to these prenatal classes that were done by the council, and they said, there's going to be cameras in here today and you get a few shillings if you just stay in the background. So my granny's in a Mike Leigh film, and she's so short you see like a load of towels. I've told you absolutely everything about my family.
This is great.
And about where I live. And you could do me. There's definitely about 4 internet passwords that I've said. You know? Sorry about this, but I'm like, you're like, we're done. And I'm like, no, actually.
Well, actually, my childhood pet was called this, and my mother's maiden name.
Do you know what, chicken? I have done a whole stand-up comedy set by my first childhood pet's name. I really fucked up.
Oh,
I'm trying to dox myself through my material.
I'm safe on that one because our first childhood pet was a dog called Kruger.
Kruger?
Which even
How do you spell that?
That's it. Between us all, we don't know how to spell it.
The one from the National Park? Like the South African National Park?
National Park, yeah.
Wow.
There's a whole... We'll do this another episode, but basically I think that it was my great-grandfather on my mother's side fought in the Boer War for the British.
Wow, so would you be, you know that, what's the name of that church? The fucking church built by the Guinnesses, or like done up by the Guinnesses.
I don't know.
My friend Colin Chadwick used to work in it. Yeah. And I've been in the ceiling of it. St. Patrick's Cathedral.
Oh, here.
There's Boer War. There's a load of flags from the Boer War in that cathedral.
Yeah.
So your ancestors could have like...
Maybe.
Was he high up?
I don't think so. He came back and then supposedly did some IRA. I think a lot of people went over, they fought in the British War, and then came back and was like, that's not a lot of fun. What if we just joined the IRA? But
I could see that happening.
Yeah, but Kruger was the president of, it was called Transvaal at the time, but South Africa basically. So I think that name came back with those soldiers. Because we named it after my granddad's childhood dog.
Whoa!
And I think, and now he died before I could ever get an answer.
You've got a family name of dogs.
Well, we were kids and we were like, what's the name for a dog? And he's like, well, my dog was called Kruger. And then we called him that. It was only years later. I read it in that Playboy of the Western World, the John M. Singe play. They mentioned Kruger's War. And I'd never heard the name Kruger before or like come across it other than my dog. But it would have been in the ether at the time.
Yeah.
As he's the guy from Transvaal that beat the British. And maybe people named their dogs after him. And then maybe we accidentally named a dog after him. And also, he's not a good man. He was fairly racist. But
oh, look, weren't they out?
Weren't they all?
So
Same as the dog.
Same as the dog. God, he was black and white, and that's how he saw the world. He was a hell of a pup.
It's so funny because like they have trains named after people in the UK, and I like to Google them.
Yeah.
You know, like I'll see some name, and like my boyfriend was beside me one day. He's like, Alison, there's just going to be another eugenicist. Why are you? You know, and it was. There's loads of them. Loads of them.
So many.
Oh my God. History is a what?
There's the guy who...
Who's your favourite eugenicist?
We could keep going. I've got a whole list of them. There's the guy called Hans Sloane, I think. It was an Irishman who invented chocolate milk and was also a massive racist.
Oh my gosh.
Invented
chocolate. Didn't Ireland invent the flavoured crisps?
Yes,
we did.
That we did.
I always tell that to
we did,
people.
We did an episode about that, about Tato. But yeah, Hans Sloane, an Irish physician who helped set up the British Museum, the British Library, the Natural History Museum, was also a massive slave trader who invented chocolate milk.
That makes sense. But it makes sense, doesn't it? Like he's involved in all that horror. Like,
yeah.
Like the British Museum, I've been there, but like you do go there and you're like, this is awful.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's the same as the Book of Kells. Return it to Kells, that's what I say. Shouldn't be in Trinity.
yeah. Well, yeah.
The people of Kells are annoyed about that.
Is there Irish stuff in the British Museum?
Oh, fuck. Probably.
I'd be interested in, like, did Britain take anything? I mean, look, I was going to say, did Britain take anything from Ireland?
Just
apart from the freedom. But I wonder if there's physical... Yeah. You took my most fertile years.
We were young.
Yeah. Now look at me.
Who'll want me now?
I'm a republic. I don't even have all my counties. What have you done? Sorry.
Westmead, what the hell is that?
She's a shell. Used up. Sorry, that's a bit. Never did I think I'd go on a history podcast. I'm like, this is where I'll cancel myself.
Yeah.
This is it. But like, yeah, sorry. Yeah. I'll stop chatting.
No, that was... We were almost at a point there. What the hell were we talking about?
Eugenicist.
No, eugenicist.
Yeah, we'll get away from the canceling ourselves and get to the eugenicist
but
part.
It's yeah, I mean, those are the people that had the time, you know. If you got lots of slaves, then you got the time to sit around inventing. What if I put chocolate in milk?
Oh my God.
God, I've done it again.
Mm-hmm.
And he probably was like the setting up the library and the museum was like, this is my legacy.
Yes.
And then it's chocolate milk.
The chocolate milk guy.
Yeah.
And now slave trading guy.
Oh, absolutely. Slave trading. Yeah.
But so we were always very proud of Walt Disney's grandparents are from just around the corner from where I'm from. And then over time, that's kind of like, oh, Walt Disney had some ideas.
Yes.
About,
Do you know there's a place called Norton Disney in Lincolnshire? Which is very near my granddad's village.
Ooh.
It's 2 villages away. I've also doxed my own grandfather. But they say Walt Disney's ascendants came from there. There's graves, and he visited the village when he was alive to go like, whoa.
Well, do you know what? They can have it.
You think? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I was thinking.
We'll fight them over who gets to keep it.
You get Disney.
There's a couple of, because as part of the podcast to make life easier on ourselves, sometimes we just do film episodes for the Patreon.
Oh, wonderful.
There's one I've had in any of the old Disney stuff to do with Ireland is very hard to find, but meant to be very racist.
Are we talking the 60s? Are we talking which? Are we talking cartoon?
Yeah. No, there's a live action one I think called The Hills of Donegal that's meant to be almost impossible to find.
Wow.
And there's different ones, like any of the pictures.
Darby O'Gill. There's other ones though.
Yeah, there's earlier ones where it's like even more the Fighting Prince of Donegal, a 1966 adventure film that is
amazing,
nay impossible to see.
The Fighting Prince of Donegal.
Yeah, he's drinking and beating his wife.
Did you watch that, or is that like a future thing that you'd like to do if you can find it?
If I could, I'm sure it's not impossible, but it's difficult enough. Could be in the big Bag of Cans Film Festival.
I think, yeah.
Although I'm riding in hard by Fatal Deviation. Is that in Westmeath?
Shit, yeah.
Meath.
Meath.
Trim.
Ah,
I wish. I can't think of anything that was filmed in Westmeath. There's the guy who wrote The Ginger Man lived in Westmeath, and Johnny Depp visited him about 5 years ago.
Oh.
Was that Johnny Depp's here? But
that's another thing that's changed over time. Where you're like, he's here. Oh, he's here.
He was in Nina the other day.
He was in Nina the other day.
He was, Paul Bear.
Yeah. Was Paul Bear there as well?
Paul Bear, yeah. Slammed.
At every funeral.
Realize everyone's enjoying this. I'm just thinking of the wrestler.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's okay.
He's like a raven. He's just like,
well, he was the Undertaker's manager.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he was Paul Bear.
What was his name?
Yeah.
Stupid.
He used to carry an urn out to the fight with him.
Was Kane the Undertaker's actual brother?
Not in real life.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
No.
Oh my god.
There are no heroes left.
No. Yeah.
Well, we need to get you to Whelan's to do the gig.
Oh yeah, you've got Cherry.
Thank you so much. It's been great chatting.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Can't wait. I'm gonna go listen to your Tato episode.
Yeah, that's one of our good ones.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm listening to your Joe Dolan one at the moment. I was so pissed off that Joe Dolan was taken.
It's taken, by a woman, as you rightly pointed out, not even from Westmeath.
Meath.
Honestly.
Me at the Justine, I called you out. Right? Yeah. There's no show like a Joe show. Ticket to the Gun show. Like, that's what you're going to... like, one of his albums covers is from the front of Belvedere House.
Really?
Yeah, I was looking on eBay because I was considering trying to get vinyl of Joe Dolan because I'd love that shit.
We've got some.
I've got one here.
Yeah? Which one?
Well, no,
is it called The Answer to Everything?
No, there are all these compilation ones. If you want a Joe Dolan vinyl, literally walk into any charity shop in rural Ireland.
Seriously?
Yeah, I got one in Naas there a while ago for about €4. It's supposed to be £4. It wasn't that long ago. That's
fucking class. I'm just typing in. I just want to show you.
Yeah.
You see that there?
Yeah.
So that's like so the photographer is on the steps in front of the house, Belvedere House.
Yeah.
So that would be the beautiful view.
Sure.
That it's named after. There's a lake and load of trees.
Yeah.
It's great.
Any photo with Joe's a beautiful view.
Loch Ennell's the shit.
Yeah. We are in danger of becoming a Joe Dolan podcast. So
I'm sorry. I know.
It's just, it's too interesting a man.
Genuinely too interesting. And like, if you look at his Wikipedia, where it says that the type of voice he has is like a Middle Eastern voice. There's a specific, you know, the way like a call to prayer. There's a lot of like, kind of between. Joe Dolan apparently has technically his voice is like the call to prayer.
I just imagine a lot of people tried to pray and oh my.
I'd love to hear that 7 times a day. But yeah.
And religion, you have me.
One God created.
Which way is Mullingar?
Yeah, exactly. It's like the opposite to the monks in Mullingar, pointing towards Mecca.
They're actually, everyone in Mecca is pointing back towards Mullingar.
Shut this site down, turn all of these hands around. Okay, go back to your building.
Oh, me Allah, it's something. What have we got?
I'm stepping away now from this.
And that was
We wait till another hour left on this favorite Nazi.
He is though, not to be. I'll shut up about it, but like he was a little celeb in Ireland.
He was,
anyway,
and it is a funny story. But
yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
I feel like half an hour ago we were like, we just about hit the arrow right there, and then we just went off on every tangent. But it's great. We can we'll have loads of bits. I can put up. I'm trying to get better at putting stuff on the Instagram. So from episodes like this, I'll be like, here's a picture of Muhammad Ali, and here's a picture of Joe Dolan.
Yeah, the real is how I found your,
Oh yeah.
I was following you on Instagram before I listened to your podcast.
Yeah,
there was some clip that I was like, this is good.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. Yeah.
That's how you. Yeah. Eventually, people will listen to the show. I think after that.
We should have been doing the video stuff years ago.
Look, same on my podcast. Like before. The video does help. It's annoying.
Some people find it via that, and you're kind of like, this is only short form. It's like a minute of it. It's like the whole thing's going to be, it's getting there. Yeah.
Oh, what they want they want it all up on YouTube.
Yeah, people want the whole,
They do that with big podcasts where they go, please put it all up on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's like so much editing to do.
Yeah.
No.
But I don't know who watches that, an hour and a half of something on YouTube.
I know my sister doesn't know what a podcast is, but listens to a podcast on YouTube.
Yeah.
So she'll be doing the cleaning. She has no concept of like what a podcast is. Spotify is for music.
Sure, yeah.
But then YouTube is to listen to two women talking about ghosts.
Yeah.
She loves that. Do you know what I mean?
Murder Most Irish?
No, it's Ghost Huns. She loves Ghost Huns.
Ghost Huns.
Hannah,
that's good.
Ghost Huns.
Yeah.
There's a lady called Hannah who's a comedian who does Ghost Huns. And my sister is not impressed by anyone I work with. And so like one day I was like with Hannah, I was like, could you just send a little video message there to my sister? That
is the end game with this sort of stuff where you're like, you just want to get one person who your parents would be like, Jesus, you were with them.
Stop.
What?
All the time. That is why I've done my career.
Yeah.
I brought my dad. I showed my dad. My dad lives in England, and I had DVDs of a TV show I did in Ireland, and I sent it to my dad to go like, "This is what I've made," and it took him a year to watch it. And then I was like, one day I was like, "Have you watched it yet?" And he's like, "No." And then next week I go, "Have you watched it?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I go, "Oh, what do you think?" He goes, "Well, it's not really aimed at me, is it, Alison?" And I go, "Everything is aimed at you, Daddy. Everything. My whole career. Everything is aimed at you." So that's what being a comedian is.
That's
like,
so true.
Everything is aimed at Daddy.
Everything is for this.
Yeah.
For some sort of just pat on the back to be like, well done.
Yeah. I mean, I could do jokes in front of like 40 people. I don't care. It's my dad. I always eat shit when I do a gig in front of my dad.
Oh yeah.
Never done a good gig in front of my dad.
That's just the rule of. Yeah.
Once my dad came in sunglasses in disguise.
Yeah.
But then I was like, there's a man in sunglasses. The Blues Brothers are here to
I saw Niall Horan. It was over in Austin a few weeks ago. And
where were you at?
It was in Austin. I used to live over there. And it was like during must have been the Six Nations was on and the South by Southwest Festival. No, the whatever festival was on. He must have been there, but he came down to the Irish pub for like watching the rugby.
Yeah.
And he sat outside in the smoking area, but it's like 40 degrees out. Yeah. And he's in sweatpants and sunglasses.
Oh.
Just everyone else is in shorts, and like you're the most obvious man in the world. And somehow the Hosier was there as well. No one cared. I was like, he's like 7 foot tall. He's standing behind everyone. It's like, look at your man. They're like, no. It's all about Niall Horan.
Wow.
And so I went to the bar, and some lad came in.
This is great.
This ad came down. Yeah, we're going on a tangent now.
No, I don't care. I don't care.
Everyone had seen him. And I think at some point it must have been people who kept going up and annoyed him. So they went out to the smoking area. We were just with his friends and that. And he was grand. And then one lad came in from the smoking area as I was at the bar. And he says to his friends, "Just see, is your man Niall Horan from One Direction? He's out there." And I went up to him and I goes, "You'll never be Joe Dolan." And he didn't take that well at all. I say he was kind of trying to ignore me, so I goes to him, I says, "You're no Joe Dolan." And he kept looking the other way. He kept looking the other way away from me. I don't know what was going on.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That's wonderful. That's the most Westmead anecdote.
And the fact that he then took a photo of me with me after that only goes to show what a lovely man Niall Horan is.
What a king.
That had turned a lot of lads on.
I have heard nothing but nice things about him from like the town, Mullingar. They're always like, oh, he comes to the pub, we leave him be, you know? So it's lovely.
Yeah, that's
but
nice.
Apparently there's like a weird kind of like tourism thing of like young girls used to like go to Mullingar to search for Niall's like ancestral home.
Sure. Which
and
is
like
just like
it's just semi-detached. Yeah.
It was like Jim Morrison's grave in France. He's like, he's still alive. He's
near Tesco.
Go into Belvedere House. It's like, this was probably where he lived.
That's the way we should do it. That's the way we should do it. Oh, Lord. Well, thank you, lads. I'm so sorry. I've been like Columbo and you go like, I want one thing.
This is great. We'll go.
We'll
text Wayne Dugan and be like, "Just the gig's off."
No, I've been told like I'm lucky. I'm on last. Someone pulled that. Like someone wants to go on first half.
Perfect.
So I'm happy. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if no one else has any more Joe Dolan story.
No, but that was a great one. if I had an editing eye, put that on the reel. Put that on the. Sorry.
We've got so
now, if
much.
Niall
joke
was really
content
sound, when we tag him, he'll share it.
Yeah.
I love the type of people that tagging stuff is just like a complete reach. Be like,
Really?
just the fun of it. You're
Do you know
like,
what?
I went for Robbie Williams the other day.
Yeah.
and he just didn't. He didn't.
But sure, Seema like did a song and mentioned Robbie Williams in her song "Who Needs God When I Have Robbie Williams."
yeah.
And then like a year later, he's doing like a Instagram live, and they're like, "Who's your favorite new artist?" And it's an Irish girl called Seema. She's very good. You gotta, you know what I mean? Tag him in. So what have we got? Michael Jackson? Can we get him?
Oh yeah, the Michael Jackson
Joe
estate.
Dolan, yeah.
Well, CMAT, we're trying to.
Yeti?
The game for next year is to get CMAT on the show.
Oh, she'd be class.
I know.
She's got a great like. Why am I talking? I sound like one of those. You know those Irish shitheads that are like friends of Bono. They'll be like, they'll come on, they'll talk about Bono.
Yeah,
it's that. But like she loves history. Like she got this song, "Have Fun."
Yeah,
and it talks about like green birds on a Tesco and Clapham.
Yeah,
and then about Jimi Hendrix.
This is Jimi Hendrix,
and then or was it Clark? Well, Cary Grant or someone.
Yeah.
But because there's loads of like parakeets in London, and there's 2 rumors about how there's loads of parakeets in London. There's some parakeets in Dublin as well.
Yeah.
They're wild, but apparently they either think that Jimi Hendrix let them out. He insisted on having them as a pet, or there was something being filmed with Cary Grant that was like a jungle kind of. I think it was out of Africa.
Yeah.
Or the queen, or not something. The African Queen.
That was because we were listening to that song, and someone was telling me that the story that I heard is that Jimi Hendrix, always wanted a green parakeet on his shoulder when he's walking around, but obviously they kept flying away. But then his people just had to get another one.
That's
so now there's loads of them there.
Like
every day a new one, they'd
procreating.
fucking fly off, and they'd have to get him another one. But I didn't know
like,
she was a
Peter Bogdanovich. That song is about Polly Platt, who there's a historical Hollywood podcast called "You Must Remember This."
Yeah.
So she wrote a song based on a cool historical story that she heard in the podcast. Like,
by God,
get her on.
Yeah,
She'd
if
be
there's
great.
anyone out there,
Yeah,
just tag her in this video.
Just tag her in this.
me complimenting her. She's great.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
Ah.
Anyway,
Well,
this is like Lord of the Rings. We're going to end it 7 times.
I know. Are we?
it all goes white and Joe Dolan comes to the door. We all fly off on Joe Dolan's back.
Do you know what I'm
on
going
a
to
giant
do?
white suit.
All right. Cheers, Alice. Thank
Cheers,
you.
Alison.
All
Bye.
right.